Good morning, folks. Papa Joe here. Muskogee, Oklahoma. That's where I'm sitting at this morning. Sitting there, patiently waiting on that digital clock. Oh, it's Tuesday. I've been up a little bit. Playing online. Just now I have my first cup of coffee. I'm here at the QT. Ordered their breakfast earlier. I guess I should have waited because I wasn't hungry at the moment. But I knew I would be. But, went to eat it a few minutes ago. I ain't impressed. But, I just put the lid on it. They got a breakfast bowl. What should I have expected from the incoming people? Noisy trucks. But, I didn't do a whole lot at the house this weekend. I took her relatively easy. I burned a couple brush piles. A little more cleanup work around there. And actually Lakota did pretty much most of that. I did sit out there and watch them fires with him. Me and Mama repotted some plants. And actually we picked up a couple of plants. If you remember the previous weekend, I'd got a wooden crate. We did get our potatoes planted. I don't know if they'll take or not. It's getting kind of late for them. It's just a little experiment type deal. You know, I've got like 3 bags of cheap soil in them. You know, $10. So, if they make, they make. If they don't, well, bummer. So it is what it is. Let's see. Saturday. Well, let me back up a day. Friday on my way home, we have a new tractor place opening. No, not a Tractor Supply. They sell tractors. There I am blowing my nose on here, and I was trying to quit that. Excuse me. And of course, I've got someone offended that I smoke. I think his biggest problem is I smoke when I read the Bible. You know, folks, if you get offended what man does down here when it comes to your religion, you got deeper problems than me smoking while I read the Bible. I know there's those that say it's sacrilege and blah, blah, blah. You know, if what I do can sway you or upset you so much on your religion, you really need to revisit your religion. 'Cause I ain't nothing but one dumbass man. And you're not supposed to have faith in man. You ain't supposed to count on man. Man will let you down every time. There's only one that don't let you down. And it ain't man. But anyway, I went by this place, and they had the prettiest little bitty old blue tractor out there with a front end bucket on it. And I like blue. And I'm like, man, that's going to be too small for what I want to do. But it sure is a cute little rascal. So all day Saturday, that thing was on my mind because I kept thinking about going and checking it out. And come Saturday evening, done cut that boy loose, and me and Mama decided we'd go in town, grab a bite to eat. Neither one of us felt like cooking, which that don't happen often that we go and buy dinner. And we didn't want to go grocery shopping or none of that stuff. We just decided we'd do it Sunday morning. We'd just go in town and grab a bite to eat. So we're discussing on where to go. And she named this little bitty old mom and pop burger barn that we got out there by us. And she's ate there a couple times. I had never ate there. And I said, I'll get more. What the heck? So I started telling her about that little tractor I'd seen. And I said, going to where you want to eat, we're going right by that little tractor. So as we got to it, and y'all know how Texas is, you know, you got to go down and turn around type stuff. I pointed it out, there it is. And she's like, ain't that cute? So I whooped in there and I flipped her around. And like I said, driving by in the big truck, I barely got a glimpse of it. And sure enough, it's going to be way too small. It won't pull a bush hog. You know, it's too small to pull a decent sized bush hog. Now you might put a little finishing mower behind it type deal, but it did a little bitty rascal. Like I told her, I said, even if we tried to make it work, we'd overwork it. You know, that's a little toy hobby tractor. That ain't a real work tractor, and I need to work one. But we wandered around in there and looked at some of their stuff. Everybody was gone. They was closed. So, which I prefer my first time or two going in and looking around. But then we went and ate them burgers, and I had a mushroom and Swiss. And I tell you, and I told her when I was reading it up there, I mean, this place don't even have a dining room or nothing. You know, it's a little portable building that they turned into a kitchen and put a deck out front for you to stand on to order. A few picnic trees over under the trees. You know, you need it under the trees or go away. I told her when I ordered it, I said, that sounds messy. It was. It was okay. I told her later, I said it really wasn't worth the money. It is a little pricey. Little places like that get pricey, and I don't have a problem with that if I'm getting the quality of food for the money. We ordered onion rings, and they came out so damn hard. And they was handmade and all that, which is what I like. But they would just deep fried too damn long. Hold on, nose issue. So anyhow, then we went on back home, chilled out for the day. For the evening. It was cool. Watching to see what in the world they're doing over here, but let's see, then Sunday we got up, sat around the house a little bit, watched a little TV, and I took the wife out to eat for breakfast, which was we went to Whataburger. Which some of y'all don't know, but Whataburger does pretty good breakfast. I really didn't want to sit around and wait on a breakfast, sit-down breakfast meal. So I didn't. And we went and hit the grocery stores and whatnot. Went to Walmart, actually. I hate Walmart. And that was one of them days where they proved why I hate them. Oh, hold on. So, we hit Walmart. Did our little bit of shopping there. The wife don't mind Walmart. She thinks we save money there. But I tell her you don't get near as good stuff out of Walmart as anywhere else. Well, it's all made in China. Yeah, but Walmart dictates. At one time, I almost had a contract with Walmart. That's a whole different story. But that's when it really showed me what Walmart is about. And they're about Walmart. But we need to get some topsoil, some cheap topsoil for the potato tower, the potato bed. And I wasn't going to go outside, load it up on a buggy, and push it inside, then do all our shopping, and push around. They come in like 40-pound bags or whatever. So I'm going to push around 120 pounds of dirt through a store while I grocery shop. No. So I get to the checkout, and I tell her you had some dirt out there for $2.77 a bag or whatever it was. I need 3 of them bags. Oh, I can't do that here. What? Oh, well, I don't have a, whatever they call them little scanner things. Those are in a book, and I don't have that book. I said, now the cash register do. You call the people, they bring it over, you scan it. Oh, no, we can't do that. Too long a lines on Saturday, you know. I said, really? So what do you suggest? Well, go get your dirt and come back through line. No. Y'all know what Walmart lines are like. I said, you know, I've always hated Walmart, and this is the kind of reason that makes me hate giving Walmart any of my hard-earned money. I said, I'll go to Home Depot, or I'll go to Lowe's, rather. And, well, she don't care, you know. She's there for her 4 or 6 hours a day, whatever they allow her to have, because Walmart don't like working full-time. They work you full-time, they might actually have to pay your taxes and stuff. Lord forbid they have to actually pay for the full amounts of an employee. Let's hire 300 and let them divide up the work of 200, and we don't have to pay no taxes or nothing. Boy, we're smart. Gotcha. Why most Walmart employees can go on welfare if their husband or their spouse isn't making enough money. Don't get me started. I hate Walmart. So, we went over to Lowe's, and first thing we do is we go ahead to discount plant aisle, which is just outside. We looked around. We found 2 plants. So, Mama got her 2 plants. We needed some, well, we'd got the pots over at Walmart. We need some more pots to replant them into. This stuff around the house, and now these. So we grabbed a half a dozen pots. Went inside, got our dirt, some fertilizer type stuff. It wasn't really fertilizer, but that's what I call it for this. And we went home. So we just had a nice mellow afternoon of doing our plants. Strung it out all afternoon, but it was hot. I'd grab some steaks, and I seasoned them halfway through the afternoon, let them set in the ice box. letting the seasoning soak into it. I don't do that too often unless I marinade, and I actually wish I hadn't this time because it started to burn a little bit more than I like. I mean, it didn't taste burnt. You know, they tasted pretty good. But the wife likes hers a little bit doner than I do. And I wasn't liking the way they was cooking. And yes, I cook my steaks in cast iron. And I wish this guy over here would take off. So we had baked potato. He just started it a few minutes ago. I hope it ain't running off through this video. But we had salad, steak, and baked tater for Mother's Day evening meal. It turned out okay. It wasn't as good as I would have liked, but it is what it is. Oh, you gonna wait until a truck turns in front of you to start to pull out? Aren't you a genius? So we got our, now he leaves. I paused you there for a second. We got our stuff transplanted, repotted and whatnot. Cussed and discussed a little bit more what we want to do to the place. We have long vision. We're looking way out ahead of ourselves. We'll start discussing some of the stuff that we're talking about and look at all the different possibilities. It's like I have a bunch of brick. You've seen I have a brick home if you watch the tour of my property. We have found those bricks everywhere. And we have two pretty good stacks of them. Well, you see them on the slab out there when I was showing the slab. And we're discussing all the different things that we might use them for. So, and if we do the roof, redo the roof like I'm talking about, we're going to wind up with some more there. And we were talking about that just last night, discussing what all we could use the bricks for, which is not a new discussion. But then I started telling her about, she knows I want to redo that roof. Which, see, that's where one of our differences is that roof line don't bother her. It drives me nuts. But I used to do construction and all that. And that double ridge there with that little BS flat metal roof, it is just so ugly and it just grinds on me. I can't stand it. So, and it's been like that since before we bought it. And I've always said I'm going to change that. So, and of course we're always discussing how we're going to pay for any of this stuff. So, we'll have the place paid off in a little over 2 years. And we're getting close enough to retirement that we don't really want to go in the hole to do any of this stuff. So, we will wind up making do like that roof. There's nothing wrong with the roof. It's a good roof. It has a few issues that I don't like, but it's still a good, safe roof. So, I mean, I want the shingles to go away. There's a couple places where it's getting a little belly wash in it because the original builders went a little bit cheap with their beef inside. And you can't see it from outside, but I've been up in that attic and I know they're there. So, I want them to get all them shingles off of there. I want them to brace it up in a couple places to make it stronger. Then I want to bring out a new roof line over the front of that house, and we want the roof line to come out probably past the sidewalk to the outside edge of the sidewalk. That's going to debate when we talk to a real roofer. But we want a covered patio area there in the front, and I want that gable to be centered up over the center of the house, where it's not right now. So I have visions that I see, and I have a little bit of experience in the construction and all that. I used to own a remodeling company, but I didn't do a bunch of roofs. And when I did, they was new roofs, and they were simple roofs. If it got complicated at all, I contracted it out to a roofer. Kind of like cement. I can do a little bit of cement and have the simple stuff. But when it starts getting into a job of any size, I contract it out to a cementer. They do it for a living. I have learned in the long run that it's cheaper and faster for me to hire someone that does it for a living than to think I'm going to save money doing it my way. It don't work that way. Not for me. It might for you, but not for me. But we get a real roofer out there, and I will give him my visions, and he can let me know if that's going to work or not. So everything that we do right now, we do what we can afford, and is prep work for the big picture. Like that flower bed there between the sidewalk and the house. You see, that is, all them plants are now gone out of there. And yeah, we're sticking some potted plants in there, but we have taken away all the hiding places for the snakes. Matter of fact, I was speaking to the neighbor the other day, and his wife was in the room with him, was on the phone, and she knew who he was talking to, and she yelled, "And you can keep your snakes." They've got theirs all, just pretty much every tree's cut off of. They got only a couple trees. You can see their place in my videos, and it's a nice manicured field. Which, okay, don't get me started. And I've kept woods and got the pond and all that, so the snakes must be mine. No, I don't own any snakes. I own 2 puppy dogs, and I'm trying to protect them from the snakes. So, them snakes pretty much go wherever they want, and I'm not the only one with trees and woods around there. I'm not the only one with water. So, yeah, snakes are an issue in the country. Welcome to living in the country. So, but anyhow, I've rambled on about enough. Me and Mama just plotting and planning. I've got about a half hour to kill here. Then I'm about 75 miles from the yard. They've told me to bring this load to the yard instead of delivering it. But we have some work got to be done on my truck, so I'll be down more than likely rusted today. There's a small chance of parting tomorrow. I hope not on the tomorrow. That's why they're having me bring it to the yard, because if I had delivered it and they got to the yard, it gave them a couple hours later start. And they're trying to get me done quick. Part of what I have to get done, they're not going to want to do while the truck's hot. So the truck will still have to sit there and cool off for them to take off a DEF filter. But that's my world today. So, got a friend of mine I'm trying to bring on over here. He's looking for a good company, so I'm trying to get him on over here. And He watches my videos period spontaneously. He don't just watch them every time a new one comes out. And he's like, man, you don't name your videos anymore. Well, yeah, I do, unless it's a daily update. Then I just leave the date on there. But if it's of anything at all, yeah, I put a name on it. Like today, what would you call today? You know, there ain't a name for it. I'm just talking to y'all and telling you what's going on, what happened over the weekend, what's going on in my life. There's nothing to name this. So I won't name it, and it'll go up as a date, and it'll go under the daily updates. So it is what it is. Hey, y'all remember, God loves you and so do I. You have a blessed day. Hope you enjoy yourselves. Bye.